Yo, 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 what's going on? Welcome
Yo,
back
what's
to
up?
episode the final episode of our season one recap of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
JBN, how you doing?
Holding up, man.
We middle of the week,
Middle
two
of the
days,
week.
season two. A lot of good things happening, a lot of excitement. You ready
Yeah,
for this? You ready for this season two? Looking forward to it. I know I am.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. See what they talking about. Episode one.
Yeah, episode one's gonna be 52 minutes. So we're gonna get some good amount of story in this first season. I think all of the episodes are going to be about 10 minutes longer than last season, so that's good.
Okay. Yeah,
That's good.
got clear for some more money.
Yes, sir. Kalisto, what's going on?
Kalisto,
Good to
what's
see you
up?
again. Yeah, we on episode 7 and 8, last two episodes of this first season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you ready? Let's hop right into this thing, man.
Yeah, let's jump in it.
So we open up with episode 7, and we got the Mandalorian in the Razor Crest
Mm-hmm.
going through, well, just out in space, traveling, heading somewhere, and then he gets a message from Grief Karga, basically explaining that the situation in Navarro is going south, and that the Imperials have taken over, and things have gotten really bad there, and he's offering him a deal that if the Mandalorian helps Grief take down the Imperial remnant, then he will forgive him for the guild will forgive him for his actions, and everything would be good. And he primarily wants to get rid of the Imperial remnant. It's not worth the the havoc in the craziness that they're causing there on Navarro. It's disturbed life uh, on his happy planet. With the guild,
Yeah.
they're messing up all types of stuff. Um, and so the Mandalorian takes a look at the baby, at the child, and decides, yeah, this sounds like a good deal. But before he doesn't initially head to Navarro, he heads over to I forget the planet that Cara Dune is on, but he's like, I'm gonna go, get some backup first before I head into this potential trap, because I think he knows that
Yeah,
it's
he would
probably
have
not
to
all.
know.
Yeah, he knew not to go in there solo. That's for sure. I think he trusts Grief to a point, but that was probably over the threshold.
Yeah, I mean that just sounded like a setup.
It did. It did. I remember the first time watching it, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I still wonder why he agreed to do it. Um, you know.
I think it was worth at least investigating at that point, because I mean, what do you have to lose? Because like he's got what, even if it does go south, he's still got a chance to take out Grief, and that would also solve some of his problems with the guild, and at least he wouldn't have the bounty hunter handler um, on him, sending out
I mean, he would just be replaced at that point.
possibly, but he might be able to kill two birds with one stone. Like, he might work out to
Possibly.
where, if, because he tells him that there's only like what, a handful of Imperials guarding the or did he reveal that much information at that point? I don't think he did. I think that was later. That he
Um,
reveals how many Imperials are guarding
I
the
think that
client.
was when they met him on the borrow.
Yeah, I believe so too.
He said it was like four. Turned out to be more than four.
Oh yeah, plenty. But yeah, so we get to the planet with Cara Dune, and she's in a bar fight, like looks like a MMA style combat with the with a Zabrak. Um, and that's, her once again showcasing her prowess as a fighter, as a professional fighter, which I thought was cool, because as I mentioned before, she is a retired MMA fighter, professional fighter. So and she does all her stunts. So that was another opportunity to see her in action. Um, she handles that fight, and then the Mandalorian, sit down. He tells her what's going on, and that at first she's reluctant to join because she's like, I'm done being a soldier, and I'm not interested in fighting any planetary warlords, any local warlords. And he's like,
yeah, I'm trying to
but
stay out
he's
of this
not a
drama.
local. Right. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to lay low. I'm done with all this. But he's like, but he's not a local warlord. He's actually Imperial. She was like, say less.
She said, "I got beef with that."
She's like, I can rock with that. Yo, Mr. Douglas, what's going on? Oh
What's
wait,
happening?
what's going on, partner? But yeah. That was pretty cool. I think I liked how quickly she, as soon as she heard Imperial, she was like, yeah, all right, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. And then they go back to the ship, and I'm assuming, like now on the rewatch, I thought at first they were headed to pick up Quill. But on that rewatch, I was like, you know what? Maybe they weren't headed out there to pick up Quill. Maybe they were actually headed to Navarro, and then they realized that, oh wait, we're going to need someone to pick up to watch the child, because like while they're downstairs discussing, well, not downstairs, but on the lower level of the ship, picking out weapons, like the baby is up there on, on the controls messing with the ship, and like destables the autopilot and all that, and he has to go fix it. And then they realize, like, yeah, well, we can't leave him up here like by himself, so we got to find someone to watch him. And then I think that's when it clicks, and then he goes, redirects, and heads over to get Quill.
So the child is the reason for Quill's inevitable demise.
For his demise. Yeah, he is. He is.
See, the child is no good, man.
This is
Quill
what?
ain't deserve that. He ain't deserved that.
He volunteered.
Quill, he had one of the best lines of the entire series.
Which was?
This is after they met up with him, right? And he got on the ship, and they were asking him, and he was basically saying like, "Yeah, I'm in." But the way he said it was talking about the Imperial remnant. He said, "None will be free until the old ways are gone forever."
That's true. That's a fact.
And I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, now that was a good line. That was a good line. But and also him talking about his servitude and how he paid his debts and he paid his dues. Like he's the one that, you know, yeah, he served, but he paid his way out. And that he's not going to serve anyone. Like he's doing this because he wants to, and because he wants to protect the child. Yeah. Like, which I was like, yeah, I rock with that.
Some morality.
Yeah.
Stuff, you know.
Yeah.
None will be free until the old ways are gone forever. Man.
Yeah, that's that is a solid line. Then we get the reprogrammed IG-11.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said 88, but it's 11. I was going to say 88. Which that was cool. What did you think about that whole montage
of the robot of him repairing the robot?
Yeah,
that was cool. You know, it showed Quill's tactical prowess with mechanics. I should say mechanical prowess.
Yeah.
It was you know, it's cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, but it was also like, I'm glad it happened, but it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, there were a couple things that didn't need to happen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, okay, but I could have did without that, maybe.
Yeah,
I think I could have done without that.
Yeah, that didn't really serve. I mean, well, when you later in the show you find out, you kind of get a sense of why they showed that.
Yeah, but for me, I'm like, it's a droid, like, so it can be reprogrammed. Like, it's not that hard to believe that it can be reprogrammed to do something else because it's a droid. But
They sound
it
like they made it sound like reprogramming that type of droid
was
was
like
like
impossible.
nearly impossible. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess, but let's see. Can't wait till Friday. Yeah, me either. Definitely. Gonna do a recap on Friday night of episode 1. Talk about that because, as I said at the top, it's gonna be a 52-minute episode, and it's dropping 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Friday morning. So that night, probably around 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll do a recap of that episode 1, give our initial thoughts. And come and chop it up with you guys watching. So make sure you tune in for that. And child almost crashed the ship. Yep, sure did.
it's a baby
Sure did.
kid child just
Yeah, I don't think the child likes Kara.
it tried to choke her.
Yeah, I don't think. I think.
The child
I
was
think that's
forced
probably the
choking
problem.
Kara.
I don't think the child rocks with Kara doing.
That's something there with that.
Sith Lord Maul, what's going on?
What's
Have we
happening?
seen season 2? No. Actually, none of the media has seen season 2 yet. Like, they haven't released season 2 to the media, so no one's actually seen it.
Who's staying up till 3 a.m. to watch it?
I'm not. I think I did for I think I did for season 1 and watched the first episode at, I think, at 3 a.m. last year. But I don't think I'm gonna do that this year. Yeah, and I can get up in the morning and watch it, like, just because it's not too. Yeah, I can wait a few hours, a couple hours, get a few hours of sleep in.
Why did the child choke Kara? If anybody knows, post that in the comments, because I'm interested. I thought that was
I know
telling
why.
us that Kara was like a double agent. She was going.
I know why. Because, like, they all right, so they're arm wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Kara and the Mandalorian is losing, and the child is like, "Nah, bro, you can't beat my dad," and so he just starts choking her.
That's childish.
It is, but it's a child, so it is. That's why he did it.
That's why he did it?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, he ain't like they would
discipline.
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, you can't you ain't about to beat my dad." Yeah. Have we seen trailer 2? Yes, actually. And I did a reaction to trailer 2, anticipating that there would be some mind-blowing content in that trailer, but there wasn't. But it's a pretty good episode. I think it's like 30 minutes. Definitely go watch it. It's on the YouTube channel. If you haven't, if you want to hear my initial thoughts on the trailer. JBN, did we talk about the trailer last week? Did you have any thoughts on it that you want to share?
I was just disappointed.
Yeah, I think everybody was.
But I also wasn't expecting. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be like a blowout trailer, but I was expecting them to show like at least one character that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Initially, I think I was like anticipating like to see Ahsoka, but even if they had shown Moff Gideon like in any scene, I would have been good with like him doing something, because he's supposed to be like featured prominently in this season. So I think they're trying to avoid spoilers, and I think they just want to keep a lot of it under wraps, which is cool. I'm fine with. But I feel like if that's the case, then they should have held the trailer that they released on like a random Tuesday, that first trailer that they just dropped randomly. Yeah. They should have held that one and then released that on Monday night for Monday Night Football, and then that would have been like spectacular, because that would have been our like first official look at it. And I think everything would have been. They could have been fire. They could have been fire.
Yeah, they definitely should have had him in there.
Yeah. I mean, we get his voice, but let's see some action. Unless all the action in the trailer is him versus another character that they don't want to reveal is in the show yet. which I'm actually kind of cool with, because if Ahsoka is in the show, like I would like to experience that for the first time on that episode, whatever episode that is that she pops up on, or any other potential Jedi that are roaming the galaxy at this point in time. Because you know I don't I don't see them recasting a Luke Skywalker, uh, but I guess that's a possibility. You've also got Ezra Bridger from Rebels that's roaming the galaxy during this time period. And then we don't know what the fate of Cal Kestis is either. But I think the money person is probably Ahsoka, because of those characters I've just named, minus Luke Skywalker. She's probably the most uh, notarized character.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
But yeah, so now we get everyone on board. The teams together. The A team is together. They're on the ship, plus the blurg that Quill negotiates to bring along as well. Three.
Yeah, there's three of them.
Yeah, it's three. Yeah. So then we get to we arrive on Navarro, and we see Grief is there with a group of bounty hunters escorting him as the Mandalorian lands, and then they approach on the three blurg mounts with Mando in the middle, Quill and Kara flanking him on either side, and then the child in the new pod that Quill built for him. I'm assuming that's bulletproof.
Mm-hmm. They called it something in the show, a pram.
A pram, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. So we see that he and Grief have a conversation. Grief asks to see the child. Mando sends the pram to Grief, and he opens it and he picks up the child. And Mandalorian he shifts and puts his hand on his blaster, and then you see the other bounty hunters pick up on his movement and shift into a defensive stance, creating some tension, which I thought was cool. Mm-hmm. I like those moments and those that tension that they create, because we all know that no one right there is really trusting each other.
Yeah,
not fully anyway.
Another classic Western gunfighter moment.
Yep. And then Grief calmly puts the child back in the pram and sends it back, and everything goes back to normal. Then they head out across the Navarro volcanic wastelands. And then what was it? The next is the night shot, right? And they've made camp. It's nighttime. They're talking. The child is eating, and Grief makes comment about it being a carnivore. And then
he said, what did he say after? Well, we'll get to it. But
yeah, we'll get to it. Because and then they get attacked by some like pterodactyls.
Yeah, what were those? I thought they were dragons.
I don't know, man. Yeah, dragon. Star Wars pterodactyl dragons with poisonous claws, as we find out. I think they're there. It seems like they're there for the blurgs, and they attack everyone at the camp as a kind of sort of as a distraction, because they take one and go for the
second.
They kill the second one, but I think it was attempting to take that one too, but they ended up killing it.
Yeah.
And then we get then what happens? So and Grief gets scratched.
That's to put it lightly.
That was for real, because it's more like a gash. Like that thing was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
That thing was nasty.
Like gangrene.
Yeah. And Kara's got a med pack. She tries to patch it, and
it's not doing nothing.
Ain't doing nothing.
What's up,
Not doing
Sith
anything.
Lord?
What's up, Sith Lord? Um, so yeah, it's not doing anything. The then the child gets out of the pram and starts making his way over to Grief. He's like, and right before he puts his hand on, he's like, "Ah, it's gonna eat me." And
Like,
then he puts
this right here. He was like, he was healing them, and he was like,
yeah, he put his yeah, and then he puts his hand on him, and like the wound begins to heal like rapidly.
whose idea this was for that line to be said.
You think? I think was it improv?
I don't know, but that was funny. It was funny, but I also didn't believe it at first. I was like, did he say what I think he said?
I think he improv that. I don't think anybody wrote that. I think he just said that. I don't think that was. I bet you that's not in the script, in the original script. I think he was in the moment, and he just improv that, and they kept it.
Oh man, yeah, he was afraid for his life.
He really was. I'm like, bro,
Three?
you just got attacked by a giant pterodactyl, and you scared of this little child. Like, come on, man, get it together.
We'll blame it on the poison in the cut. It just made him delirious.
Yeah. Hey, Sith Lord, go ahead and drop the question in the comments. We'll get to it. But yeah, so he heals the wound completely, removes the poison, and then like the wound actually heals 100%, and then the child collapses, and that's it. What I'm assuming it's using its own force energy to heal and to mend to heal grief, and it tires him out, the effort. Yep. And I knew right at that moment, like whatever, if grief was going to plan it or was planning to like turn on them, I knew at that moment, like, yeah, he's not going to do it, because that just changed the game.
Yeah,
I could feel
it was on his face.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he was having doubts, like he was amazed that had happened, and then you could also see him second guessing, or at least regretting what he was about to do.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the next scene. They arrive, it's daylight, and they arrive at Navarro, like right outside the settlement. And the remaining bounty hunters, the ones that survived the night, which is, I think, was only 2 of them that survived. Everyone else was dead.
I thought it was one that that survived. One remaining. Could be wrong.
Yeah. Sith Lord, yeah, you can just post your question in the comments in the chat.
Yeah, what you got, Sith Lord?
Yeah, we'll answer it.
They enter the town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Grief turns. Well, he turns and shoots both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He does turn and shoot
before they shoot. Like, and the crazy thing, like both, like, I know he's a dead eye because both of the shots go like right past Grief by the Mandalorian and Kara's heads, like zoom right past them.
Yeah,
dead on. I'm like, yo, okay, he's nice with the blasters, clearly.
Yeah, that was a turnaround. That was a quick about face. That was Empire Strikes Back, Sith Lord, episode 5.
Empire. I'm gonna go Empire as well. Definitely my favorite. But for
if Ahsoka is in 2, I think she will live. They're not gonna kill off her character. I don't expect they will.
No, I don't think Ahsoka is going to die in season 2 either. From what I understand, they've got a standalone show for her planned, a spinoff show for her following the events of season 2. So I don't think that character is going to die. And Rosario Dawson is rumored to have signed like a long-term deal with them for that character. So I don't think she's going to anywhere. She's not going to die in this season for sure, based on that.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. I like Revenge of the Sith as well.
Yeah, that's my top 3. Top 3.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely in my top 3 as well. But yeah, so Now, you know, lay the cards out on the table. Everybody's like, the truth has been revealed. Yeah, I was planning to kill y'all. I changed my mind after what
But it's
happened
all
last
right
night.
though.
We all good. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead,
Yeah.
shoot me. Like, you know. uh, and so we get to uh where so they come to terms. The Mandalorian, he says, oh, I can, what we can do, since I already agreed to capture you, I can bring you in alive with the child. I'll get you close to the client, and you can kill him right there, because there's only four. He says there's only four Imperials guarding him. And the Kara is like, hell no, like that's terrible, like that's horrible idea. Which I agree with her on that point. But the Mandalorian is like, man, we're here now, and it's probably the best shot we have of killing this guy at this point. So he's like with it, and she was like, all right, well, if you're gonna do it, then I'm coming with you.
That was a wild plan. Like
It was a very
like,
Star Wars plan, though.
They really about to do something like this.
It was a very Star Wars plan, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. And they decided in the blink of an eye. It was just like, Mando just gave him his gun. I'm like, yo, what is going on?
But it's still not worse. To me, that's still not worse than the plan Luke and Han had to rescue Princess Leia from the Death Star. Like that's the craziest plan I ever seen in a movie. Point blank. Period.
Yeah, yeah.
Another tops that. That is crazy. Like, yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. What's your favorite Sith? I'm only familiar with the Siths from the movies, so I'm gonna say Darth Maul is my favorite Sith. Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Respect the OG.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in agreement on the Jedi being Qui-Gon and Yoda up there for me, but for Sith, it's definitely Darth Nihilus for me. It's my favorite Sith Lord. Nihilus and Bane are like right up there for me. Bane creating the rule of two, Nihilus just being he's just, to me, Nihilus is like the ultimate dark side force user. So that's why I'm up there on that. Death Watch. Yes, that was, and we're getting ready to get into that flashback because that's coming up. But yes, that was Death Watch. Cad, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're mid halfway through our episode 7 discussion. We're talking about the crew getting to Navarro, and they're discussing their plan to infiltrate and get to the client and take them out. So yeah, Darth Maul and Ahsoka. Yeah, I could tell by Maul by your name. So that's no surprises on that one. And Ahsoka is definitely a good choice because she's in my top 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to continue, we'll do some more Q&A stuff after the recap. But so now we get to the city. They're asking for ID. There's a garrison. They got an Imperial checkpoint at the entrance, and already there's like way more stormtroopers than Grief said initially. And Kara is like, I told y'all this was a bad idea. Mm-hmm. And before they depart though, Quill agrees to take the child out of the pram and ride back to the ship and lock it down. We'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that later because that was interesting. And so now they are being they're being escorted by a group of stormtroopers back to
into the room. Or what was that, like a bar?
Yeah, no, probably the canteen. I think it's the cantina that that Grief was operating out. Now I think about it, because remember early on in the episode, I think it's that same cantina. Because that's some real Imperial stuff. Like, yeah, we're gonna come in here, we're gonna take over, and I'm a crash your spot. I can believe that. So and then they get inside, and it's like he's got a whole garrison of troops in there with him, guarding the entrance and him, like they don't really have a clean shot, and it basically becomes a suicide mission. At that point, I think they've realized like it's going to, if this turns into a shootout, like we ain't gonna make it out. And they're sitting down at the table and they're negotiating with the client, and then they agree. No, what happens is before he opens up the pram, he gets a call on the hollow, and he gets up to answer. It's Moff Gideon, and he asks him, "Do you have the child? Is the child with you?"
Dude sound like a whole creep too. I was like, what? Why does he sound out of breath? And why?
Who was out of breath?
The old man, the Imperial.
Oh yeah, the client. Yeah.
Right. And he kept wanting to open the pram, and he was like, "We will all be quiet." I'm like, man, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, then he agrees. So, and then before he opens the pram up and it's revealed that the child isn't actually in there, he gets that hollow call from Moff Gideon, and the Moff is asking him, "Do you have the child? Is the asset? No, or does he ask him, is the asset? I think he asks, is the asset secure?"
Yeah,
and he says, "Yes, it's here with me." And then he goes, "Check again." And then at that moment, I'm like, "Uh-oh, something's going wrong." And then next thing you know, just a hailstorm of blaster fire just comes blaring into the cantina, and everybody hits the deck. The client gets hit in the chest. He's dead.
Yeah, he died. I was like, so what was the point in that character?
He's the client. you're not gonna meet the head boss. If like, listen, if you go to meet the mob, right? You do a deal with the mob. You're not gonna meet the head boss first. Got a whole bunch of people in between him.
Also, he also not gonna shoot his mans like that. That's the mafia family.
This is the Empire. Empire operates different.
Yeah, so I feel like that the client,
bro, Darth Vader
client.
Darth Vader choked out his admiral for jumping out of hyperspace too close to a planet. Like that ain't nothing. Like this is normal in the Empire. This is how they operate.
That's cold blooded.
Yeah, it's a savage wasteland out there. You got to be on your P's and Q's at all time.
Yeah, he was on his way out too. He was wheezing the whole every scene he was in.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't.
I think he was on his way out.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't going to be in there for much longer. Do I watch Star Wars? I watch Star Wars Theory. Yes, big fan of that channel. He's great source of information and lore. Great Star Wars ambassador.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah, pretty cool dude. Very knowledgeable. And so yeah, and then we pans over after they stop shooting. Grief, Kara, and the Mandalorian all still alive, and outside it's a squadron of Death Troopers, and then we get a troop transport comes in with another like squadron of stormtroopers, and then some come in from the alleys, and then next thing you know, the whole building surrounded. The Mandalorian. Yeah. Mandalorian radios to Quill like, "Hey, get back into have you gotten back to the ship yet? Because we're not gonna make it out. You got to get the child on board and get out of here." And the scout troopers on the speeder bikes pick up on that transmission that he sends to Quill and head out immediately.
Yeah. Now Quill was why was he taking his time?
Hey, listen, he was enjoying the scenery. he was enjoying the scenery.
He was playing that old man role. He had his baby. He was on his ride. He was chilling.
Bro, this man, he was enjoying it. Like he was enjoying that ride. Like he was like
he had nowhere to be.
No, not at all. Not at all. Quill. That's that. Yeah, look, he's living out in the desert. He's got a very slow paced lifestyle. He ain't going anywhere fast. Uh,
He was trying to go fast. He was still going slow.
yeah, now that the blur getting the thing for speed, obviously.
Oh my
The
goodness.
blurg is no racehorse.
No, it's not.
No racehorse. Yeah, and then the scout troopers catch up to him, take him out, scoop up the baby.
I feel some type of way how he went out, man. They didn't show him. They didn't give him like a scene to go out and you see him struggling. It was just like boom.
You want to see him struggling?
Smoking. I want to see him like try to fight for his life. Something. Take one stormtrooper out. He got taken out by a stormtrooper.
Yeah. He's no
right.
fighter. He's a mechanic. He's not a fighter.
That ain't right. Jar Jar Binks lived. That ain't right.
Not really.
Yo, I'm saying he deserved better.
Yeah, about you'll see it. You don't know what happened to Jar Jar after the prequels.
Oh man, did he meet a nasty end?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. What happened to Jar Jar?
What show was this?
It's not in the show. It's in the book. He's basically so the scene in Game of Thrones with Cersei's being drugged through the city.
Wow, I don't want to know no more.
Yeah, it's like that, but he's not naked. But it's basically that's basically him on Naboo. That's basically how he lives his final days. And he's in that state for years. So like he didn't have a good end.
Why they do Jar Jar like that?
I don't know.
That was all that prequel hate is what it was.
That's all that was.
The prequel hate.
Yeah. I didn't rock with that. Right. He didn't deserve that life.
No, he did.
He didn't deserve that.
Jar Jar wasn't here to hurt nobody.
No. He's just goofy. Yeah. He don't deserve that. But anyway, I digress. Conversation for another day.
But yeah, Quill, I understand he had to go, but I wish he would have went a different way.
Yeah, there could have been a more noble ending, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it was. I think that's a screen time thing. Like, what you gonna prioritize? Because you got to have that grand entrance for the Grand Moff in the Outlander. The TIE Outlander is what that variant is called. With the fold down wings, because we hadn't seen that before. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was
intro, because normally
Lambo
the TIEs
style.
For real, the TIEs usually just land on their wings, and then they fold down and collapse and then drop. That one had like landing gear, like the wings closed completely, which was cool. And what I read was that was developed after Return of the Jedi, when the Empire started to lose ground, and they needed TIE fighters that could, land on in uncharted like terrain, stuff like that. So that's why that was developed, which is cool lore thing. Actually, if they ever, I don't know if they have a model of that TIE fighter, but I would definitely get that. But yeah, and that basically ends that episode, and then we get into episode 8.
Yeah. Episode 7 ends with Quill's body smoking.
And the child getting swooped up.
Yeah, child getting swooped up like a football.
Yep. And that's how we end the episode. And then in real time, we had to wait another week for the final episode, which was cool.
Mm-hmm. What's up, everybody?
What's up? Hey, Mom, what's going on? Team, what's good? All right, now we're getting into episode 8 with it.
Mm-hmm. Final
episode. A lot happens in this episode, man. This is a very action-packed episode.
Yeah. This had the most action, right?
Oh yeah. This was up there.
More than the third episode.
Action, yeah. As far as action goes, this I think it surpassed all of the other previous episodes probably combined.
Yeah.
From start to finish. So we get the Moff basically giving the team an ultimatum to turn them.
What we open with the two stormtroopers.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
With the
what you think
funny
about
banter. I enjoyed that. That's probably one of my most enjoyable moments of the whole season.
that? Yeah,
Because
it's
you never really hear stormtroopers.
no, you don't.
You
You
know,
don't. And
and
that's like
hear the banter was pretty. I liked it. Was a good
that
moment.
yeah, let's talk about that for sure. Taika Waititi
Who?
directed Taika
Okay.
Waititi directed this episode. And that scene is his doing for sure. Definitely has his name written all over it. The back and forth, the banter, I enjoyed it. Not only the humor, like I mean, all of it really was funny, and it was a good introduction. It added some levity to that episode and the end of the season.
Showing them trying to shoot their target. And
That was that was the that was great. I love that. Like
true to form. True to
talking,
form.
going back and forth. The one wants to see the child, and he's like, what do they want to do with it? And he's like, I don't know, maybe we want to eat it. And then he's talking about, well, let's, why are we waiting on the outside? Like we gotta let's go ahead and deliver it to the Moff. And he's like, nah, he just took out like a whole squad. So let's let him calm down, and then we'll go in there with it. Like I thought overall that scene was great. Like it wasn't how I was expecting them to open the scene, but I definitely enjoyed like every moment of that intro.
And they were some abusive stormtroopers.
Yeah. Well, he puts his finger in the child's mouth and it bites him, and it's like, what did you think was going to happen?
What did he put his? I think he was just touching his face, and it went and bit his finger.
I don't blame the child. Like, why? Why are you putting your finger in my face?
Yeah. But he punched the mess. he stole off on the baby. That was crazy. I said, "Oh, I was surprised they had that."
Oh God, it was great. Yeah, hey, he punched hard.
Yeah, he a full grown man punch is what he did.
Oh man, that joke was hilarious. I was
self-correcting punch.
Yeah, and then I'm like, but as soon as that happened, I'm like, bro, this death scene that they about to have is about to be used just for that. I know it was. I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna die, but however it is, it's gonna be real brutal. Yeah. And then, sure enough, IG-11 shows up.
That was brutal. I don't see how the first stormtrooper died though. He did a flip. He flipped him.
Bro, I think he just punched him in the face.
I might have missed that, but I know he broke his hand in a couple places and then did a flip.
Yeah, or something.
And then the second dude, the one that punched the baby,
he grabbed his face and started slamming him into the speeder bike. Just and I was like, yo. But I knew that was going. I knew that was coming. I was like, as soon as he punched the baby, I'm like, all right, the death they about to receive is about to be something special.
Yeah, that was cool though. That was cool to see.
Yeah, I rocked with that. And then so he gets gets the child, puts him on the speeder bike. They take off towards Navarro. And then we go back to the cantina, and this is where the Moff Gideon is reading him his rights, giving him an ultimatum. Like basically, yeah, you know what? Right now, I'm in the mood to negotiate with y'all. If you just turn child over, we can, split the difference. You go on your way, I go on my way. They
know he lying though.
It's no way that they get out of there alive. Like everybody knows this. Like
he was just trying to go for the path of least resistance.
Yeah. I think he's trying to see how gullible they are. And then he's also revealing a lot about their past. And he knows Cara Dune, and he calls her name and says, you know, from Alderaan, you're a rebel drop trooper. Like he basically knows her whole life story. And then we get the first. This is the first time we hear the Mandalorian's name, which is Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin, yep. And then we get. He also knows Grief Karga, and that he was a diplomat or some aristocrat, some government official on a world at some point in his past before he was the became the guild master. So that was cool. And then that's when he realizes, the Mandalorian realizes that this is Moff Gideon. He knows who, because he wouldn't know who I was by name unless he was
before he turned to a Mando.
Yeah, and then I think that's when we get the flashback once again to the Mandalorian's childhood, and we finally see the full scene play out. The super battle droid is pointing its blaster at Din Djarin, and then it gets hit in the shoulder, and it turns, and then it gets blasted to pieces by a Mandalorian. And these Mandalorians are part of Death Watch, who we see in the Clone Wars, which is a nice callback because this takes place during that time. And it also makes sense because they would have been, I think, Death Watch and the Protectors of Concord Dawn would have been the only active military group within Mandalore outside of their planetary defense force. So yeah, those are really the only two factions, and the colors of the armor give away that it is Death Watch because they wear that blue and gray armor. So yeah, they're on a mission to liberate this planet from this separatist takeover. They take the child. He's inducted as a Mandalorian. We get all that backstory. Finally, get resolution to that arc of his backstory. And then that's when IG-11 starts blasting his way into the city on the speeder, and it draws the attention away from the cantina. All the stormtroopers turn to face the commotion, and he comes barreling in, guns blazing. He hops off the speeder bike, sends it flying into a group of stormtroopers, and then battles on. They start opening fire. Kara gets up on the bar and gets that Gatling gun, that heavy machine gun, and just lays down that impressive suppressive fire.
Yo, I just gotta say the flips that they were doing from getting hit with that Gatling gun, highly unnecessary.
Oh, I have to mention flips. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that this is the stormtroopers that we see in this scene. These are not actors. These are the 501st Legion of they're like a cosplay group, but they also do like a lot of like community service dressed as stormtroopers. Like they've got like the Clone Wars armor, and they also got the stormtrooper armor. Like they all make their armor from scratch. It's all handmade. A lot of times they'll go to like, they've got groups in every state in multiple cities that you can go and join. But they do like, they'll go to hospitals and visit kids that are sick and dying from cancer and things of that nature. They'll go and dress as stormtroopers and like have a full-on Star Wars day with the kids, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
Pretty cool. And they show up to Star Wars Celebration. Like,
and who are these guys in the show?
It's all the stormtroopers in the white stormtrooper gear.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, that's the 501st, the LA division of the 501st Battalion.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened was they didn't have enough. They ran out of people for stormtroopers for the show. Like they realized they needed more stormtroopers than they had acquisition Lucasfilm for. So they had to get Um, they didn't have. I don't think they had the money to make more armor, and they had to find more actors and more armor. And so Dave Filoni was like, "Oh, I know some people," and he called the 501st, and then they agreed to come in. And they had no idea what they were doing. That they were
That's
coming
what's
in to
up.
shoot a scene for the Mandalorian. So they arrived on the set, and like this is like one of the few practical sets that they had on the back lot. So they came in full armor and strolled into the. I think they marched in formation into the onto the set, and like everybody was like, "Yo, what is going on?" So that was pretty cool behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, shout out to them.
Yes,
501st.
yeah. Shout out to the 501st Legion. But yeah, that's cool. Some backstory into that. But nah, this is a really good battle scene. Like this felt like Rogue One.
Yeah, it did. I thought about Rogue One when I saw
Yeah,
this scene.
yeah, it
Even
felt very
like the
much like
opening
Rogue One.
episode of Rogue One.
Yeah. Oh, opening scene.
Oh no, I'm thinking about Rebels. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, Rogue One. Like when they were the Battle of Scarif when they're on
Yeah,
the yeah, that's
yeah,
what that reminded me of.
yeah. That
That
too.
that yeah, that gritty like this is a war. It turned into a war zone. That's what it kind of felt like to me.
Hmm.
Um, and then we get that really cool scene of the Mandalorian, going leaving the cantina, shooting the dude to the left of him, getting hit, taking that bullet, and just starts firing, opening fire on all of the stormtroopers. Grief Karga behind him and Kara, um, giving IG-11 cover. Um, and then he grabs that Gatling turret.
He goes to work.
Yeah, starts just laying down suppressive fire, taking them out, and then Moff Gideon appears from out of nowhere, shoots him in the back of the
No,
head.
Moff Gideon came like he was on the runway. He was just
Hey,
he walked up,
ain't he?
no sense of urgency. He was
Nah,
just
just emerged out the smoke. And I'm like, bro, this
yeah,
man, this man knows how to make an entrance.
yeah, for real.
Just stroll around the corner, cape flapping, just
Yeah. Not flinching nothing, just walking, got close to him too.
got close, hit him in the back of the head. Dude, Mandalorian tries to turn around, open fire, and the Moff looks down at the I guess the power bank or the armor, the whatever that is for the
Something
Gatling
that would
turret.
explode
Something explosive, and he shoots it and uh
the
blows it
Mando.
up. Mandalorian goes flying, knocked unconscious, knocked
Gets
out
brain
cold.
damage.
Yeah. Um and then Kara rushes over to him, picks him up, and this is they were gonna swap out Kara, like they were going to put in a stunt double for the scene to lift the Mando because it's actually the one of the stunt doubles, um, one of the Mandalorian stunt doubles in the suit at the time, and like so the scene happens and she runs over and scoops dude up and like drags him in like, and they kept the cameras rolling, but like it was supposed to be a swap out, like they were going to bring in a stunt double to come in and lift him and bring him back into the thing, but she ran over in there and did it because she was like, "Nah, I'm doing everything." Doing all my scenes.
Yeah. Why would you need a stunt for that? A double
They
for that.
because they all. I mean, usually most actors have stunt doubles for most all of their action scenes. Uh, so yeah, they just had one on standby just in case, and she just is like, nah, I got it,
Yeah, that's
I
good.
got it, I got it.
It's
So
good she
yeah,
did that. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm like, yo, yeah, former MMA fighter, she can handle that. She knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what she's doing. Drags them in to the back into the cantina. They all retreat back inside. Tables have turned against them. Um, Moff
Yeah.
Gideon gives the order to burn them out.
Cold
Mando was
blooded.
hurt pretty bad. Kara's trying to get him to take his helmet off so she can mend the wound. And he's bleeding out pretty severely. Like she's got her hand like probably on the back of his neck, and the blood is leaked onto his hand, and
Her hand.
onto her hand, and she agrees to let him, like he's adamant about having a warrior's death, and like it's like, let me go out like this,
Yeah.
because this is the way. Stubborn dude, like
Yeah. Pride.
yeah, man.
Whatever.
Warrior's pride, you know what I'm saying? It's like that samurai warrior type thing. It's like, all right, man, cool. That's how you want. That's how you got to. I guess you got to respect it. That's the code he's lived and is agreed to die by. So like, all right, cool. I think so. They come to terms. Then all of a sudden, you get the flame trooper dude, and he gets his own solo shot. That's some cool armor. I like the way they colored that flame trooper's armor.
That was dope.
Comes in with the flame thrower. Now this is a part that kind of like threw me, because I was like, but I thought y'all wanted the child alive. So why are we gonna burn everybody in the cantina? Because in the child in there. So like, if you burn the cantina now, you're gonna kill the child.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's a good point. It didn't make sense.
yeah, I was saying another, like a squad of stormtroopers, and like, don't kill the child, take everybody else out. But I digress. We just needed a flamethrower stormtrooper.
Something that also didn't make sense. Maybe you could clear this up. When he was like, I guess when he thought he was dying, he told her to take the child to the Mandalorian covert.
Yes.
I was like, well, why didn't you do that in the first place?
Initially, yeah, I think one, based off the intel that Grief had told them about there only being 4 stormtroopers guarding the client, I think he assumed that we got the 3 of us should be able to handle 4 stormtroopers and a Imperial.
That also would imply that he didn't see the betrayal coming, or the potential betrayal didn't happen, but it was
possibly too. And then I guess I think part of that too, that's kind of like a last resort, because they are supposed to be in hiding. And if they are still on the planet, I think part of it too is like he's thinking that they may still be on the planet. He probably doesn't know. And even if they aren't, the sewers are still a good place for them to head to, because it's away from everything. And as we saw later, that there's a back exit. They can take the lava river out. So strategically is a good place for them to be anyway, even if covert was no longer there. So I think that would be my explanation. That is also a loophole though, because I think he left Navarro under the impression that they were going to move the covert, because he mentions that to the Mandalorian in episode 3, that since you all have come above ground, you're going to have to move the covert. Like the Mandalorian tells him that. So I don't know, maybe he forgot. It's been a while.
He had some brain damage.
So. Yeah, he wasn't thinking straight. Brain damage, concussion protocol. He's, his memory was jarred. But yeah, so now flamethrower troop comes in, opens fire literally into the cantina, and the child reaches out with his hands and stops the flames.
Miracle.
Pushes it back on him. I'm like, yo, this child is powerful, bro. Mm-hmm. But it also makes sense, because it's like, if something like that, like the child is, who is very vulnerable, it does make sense for it, if it has force powers, it is extremely force sensitive, that it would be that powerful as an offset to its vulnerability. It's like a counterbalance.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it. It's just a survival thing. I also liken that species to like sea turtles. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all right, hear me out. Like, they sea turtles are very vulnerable at a young age. Like we all seen nature documentaries. Like the mothers lay the eggs on the beach. They all get picked off early, and the ones that survive, that actually can make it out to the deep. It's very few of them that make it, but once they reach adulthood, they're basically, like nothing really hunts them once they become adults. But so few of them make it to adulthood, like it's kind of like the counterbalance. I think that Yoda species might be like that. Like I think a lot of them don't make it to adulthood, which is why probably Yoda and Yaddle are very secretive and have never revealed, where their home planet is, or where their species is, because it's like, that as a youth they're probably very, very vulnerable.
That may be the case. Yeah. If y'all, the viewers, let us know what animal you would liken the child to.
Yeah, man. Tell me what you think about that analogy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what animal? I'm thinking at first I was thinking a gremlin, but that's not a real thing. So just remind me of Gizmo, man.
I think it's probably loosely. Well, no, what came first? I think Star Wars. I think it is inspired by. I think the design of Yoda is inspired by
Gremlin.
Not by gremlins, but what are the gnomes and like
the elves?
Yeah, elves, fairy creatures, like fairies and things like that. Like that's the inspiration.
I can see that. Yeah, but I don't know, some type of marsupial, some type of rat, hamster.
Oh, because it's got the big eyes.
Yeah, gopher or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what's that thing? Yeah, I can see that.
Raheem, you ain't serious.
There's no way.
There's no way you're serious.
There's no way.
Lions. You lying.
OG Coop was good.
What's happening?
What's happening? Yeah, no, lions. I don't understand that. We gonna let him. He gonna have to explain that one. I think he just threw that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that buys them some time. The IG unit gets the gate open. He tells them, take the child into the sewers and he'll be right behind them. He promises Kara that he's going to take care of the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian is like, nah, bro, you can't take off my helmet because no living thing can ever see my face. And he's like, well, guess what, bro? I'm not a living thing.
You would think the Mando knew that.
He did.
So it was like, I guess they just wanted that moment to happen.
That's probably why he had a shocked look on his face. He was like, damn, chess moves. I didn't think about that.
Brain damage.
He was like, he got me.
Yeah. Were you happy that they removed the helmet and showed the face?
I mean, I wasn't surprised that they were. I anticipated that they were going to show his face at some point in the series. Was that the way I was thinking that they were going to reveal his face? No, not at all. I wasn't disappointed though. Like, first of all, I thought it was kind of strange. Like I've said before that that was the creed, was that they can never remove their helmets. Because I'm like, bro, all during the Clone Wars and Rebels and every other time we've ever seen Mandalorians, they take their helmets off around people. So I was like, I don't know where that came from, but I'm gonna let it rock. So yeah, that was a new concept really introduced into the show.
Yeah, maybe it's like some post Clone War creed situation.
Yeah, somebody said that they think that I think it might have been Josh on the Den of Nerds. I believe he was saying that he thinks that this happened after the Purge, or maybe it was Star Wars Theory. I don't know. It was one of those YouTube channels. They were saying after the Purge on Mandalore, they either enacted this code or they went back to it as a means to protect themselves, so that the true identity of the Mandalorians wouldn't be revealed, since they had pretty much been wiped out. Like, it's a, if no one's ever seen their face, like they could technically take the armor off, go out in public, and no one would know that that was a Mandalorian until they put the armor back on. Which I like that as a theory, but a counterpoint to it is that Din Djarin says that he's had his helmet on ever since he was a child. Like, he's never removed it, unless he was lying. Could have been Cap.
It was all Cap.
It's all Cap. I can buy that too. He's like, I was just saying.
You want to take your
Nah,
helmet off, bro? So your head been the same size since you was a kid, bro?
yeah,
That's what you're telling me?
that's a fact. That's a fact. Nah,
Ah,
because what I mean, of course he can get a refit, but he also said because he tells her he's like she asked him, when was the last time you took your helmet off, and he was like yesterday.
yeah.
So yeah, there's loopholes. There's loopholes. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I also think, yeah, he said, oh, so you meant cub. He said
The
lion. I said,
Cubs.
you should say cub, bro.
Yeah, I think anything.
That's a, yeah.
Yeah, the reason and also a reason why I said sea turtles is because sea turtles have such a long lifespan.
It's so fun. Hey, that's one of my favorite animals, by the way. Sea turtle.
Yeah, because like they live for a super long time, and they're very vulnerable when they're young.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I would have rather them not show the face in season one at least.
I think that goes back to that rumor too of him having a dispute about his face not being shown in the series. I think that may have probably been part of the deal. That in that moment that they would show his face, and he might have some more FaceTime on in this upcoming season. Like I think that if he's in the cockpit up, by himself, if he takes the helmet off for a scene and he's talking to the child, well, no, that would still go
Yeah,
against
it's
the
a
code.
living thing. Yeah, it's a
That
living
would still go against the
thing.
code. But what I'm saying, like if he's by himself
Yeah,
in
you just take
scenes, like
him.
you can just take the helmet
Yeah,
off and we'll see his face. Like that's cool. Like take his helmet off, get some Star Wars Coca-Cola. I don't know.
be
You
out
know
there
what I'm
some
saying?
jungle somewhere,
Yeah,
meditating, taking a bath or something,
doing something,
taking off.
doing
I
something.
don't know, man. But yeah, so they he heals them, and they meet up with them down in the sewers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, me and what's the woman's name? The
The
blacksmith,
the armorer.
the armorer. Dope.
Yeah.
She what
Um,
weapons was she using?
her hammer from the forge.
Mm.
Yeah, the blacksmith. Like what guns? I don't need those.
Yeah, she was deadly with those.
It's like this
That
is
was
all I
dope.
need right here. That was a. I love that fight scene.
Yeah,
I
showing the
love that
helmet
fight scene.
getting busted open.
Oh man, it was so brutal.
Yeah,
It was
that was cool.
brutal. It was good. It was like the arm. She was crunching the armor too. Just and you're like, oh, like when it made impact, you just like, yeah, he did. You ain't getting up from that.
Mm.
Like you crack your arm, if it cracked the helmet like that, like your skull is done for.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. That was a great fight scene. But
And
also too in that moment because this was a great moment. Like she says, because this is where she mentions not directly by name, but she loosely mentions the Mandalorian Wars, which because she asked to see the child. But well, actually, before we get there, we got to address the armor of the fallen Mandalorians that she had piled up into the center of the room because after the fight on Navarro in episode 3, that's when the Empire moved in and they attacked the compound or the covert. Most of the Mandalorians were destroyed or killed. Some, she said, a few fled, got away safely, but she remained behind to gather the armor and give everyone a proper burial and what have you. So we would then get an explanation as far as what happened to them. Another sad truth, but she's not emotional about it. She's like very, hey man, this what happened. This is what they knew what they agreed to when they went to the surface. Like this is the way. Like
yeah,
um, and then they
yeah,
have the conversation about the child because she asked to see.
pragmatic.
Yeah, very pragmatic. She asked to see, hey, have you? So who? What is the reason for all of this death and destruction? And then see the child, and the Mandalorian explains to her that it can move things with its mind, and that he's never seen anything like that. And she goes, "I've heard of this in stories."
Mm.
And she says that eons past, there are stories about um, Mandalore the Great fighting battles against ancient sorcerers called Jedi. And when she said that, first time I got chills because I was like, "Oh man, that's the Mandalorian Wars." I know exactly what she's talking about because that's the first time that they fight. Like this is where Revan in the EU. This is when he and Malik turned to the dark side. It's during this conflict. Like, and I'm like, "Oh, they loosely just mentioned that it kind of sort of softly bringing the Mandalorians back into the Mandalorian War back into canon." I'm like, yes, I'm looking forward to that because I'm like, okay, now you got to give me that series on Disney Plus. I need to see the Mandalorian Wars because like, who doesn't want to see that? And like, what the battles of Mandalorians fighting Jedi with the all of the jetpacks and the flamethrowers and all of that, and like we see Revan and we see Malik, in their prime fighting as Jedi. Like this battle turns them to the dark side. Like this conflict is what inevitably turns them to the dark side because in the EU, what happens is the Mandalorian Crusaders start waging war on like the Outer Rim and planets in their near their territory, and then they invade the Republic. But the Jedi Council decide to stay out of the war because the Sith aren't involved. So they feel like that the Republic military and army should be able to handle the Mandalorian Crusaders. But Revan and a solid number of other Jedi disagree. And eventually, Revan is removed from the Jedi Council, and he then takes the group of Jedi, including his apprentice Malik, to fight to join the Republic forces on the front lines and fight the Mandalorians um, against the wishes of the Council. So they're all of those Jedi are basically expelled from the Jedi Order for disobeying, and this is what leads to the Mandalorian Wars. And at the time, the Republic was losing handedly. Like the Mandalorians were destroying them. Then once the Jedi show up, it turns the tide of the war into the Republic's favor, and eventually they're driven back out of Republic space and into Malachor 5, where the final battle happens, and the mass shadow generator is activated, and it destroys all the Mandalorian forces and like half of the Republic forces and Jedi. And that's the end of the Mandalorian Wars. We also see bits of that in Rebels because the Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka go to Malachor 5, and we see the remains of the battle that was fought, and we see a bunch of dead Jedi, like basically like just charred remains of Jedi, and like there's lightsabers like with the cross guard scattered across the landscape. And I'm like, I know what that battle's from. So like that was the first mention that we get of it, and then we get another mention in the Mandalorian. I'm like, bro, they setting this up. Like, don't set me up like this. Like now you keep teasing it. Like you gotta give it to me. You gotta give it to me.
That'll be a major production.
It would be, and do it in live action. Oof.
Yeah, that'd be a major production. We would definitely hear something. We'd hear some type of noise if they were doing that.
Yeah, well, they need to take their time and write that properly, because I don't want to see a KOTOR story in live action. Like let the game be the game. Like I've already seen that. The Mandalorian Wars happened before the story. Like that's the prequel to the KOTOR game. We hadn't seen that before. Give me that story, because then all of the hardcore fans like myself and others, we're going to be like, yo, this is going to be amazing because this is what happens. We're going to hype it up, and then all of our friends like you and everybody watching this channel gonna be like, okay, cool. That sounds cool. It sounds interesting. We're gonna get y'all hyped for it. And all they got to do is deliver some dope content, and we got another hit. Got another hit.
Let's hope
Yeah,
they do it.
Yeah,
what
let
was
us know
cool
in the.
was when the woman told him about that and said you got to take the child here, he referred to them as enemy sorcerers.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he didn't even say Jedi, so that was interesting.
yeah. That is interesting, and I guess at the time, since I don't know, that's kind of interesting though. Well, maybe he was too young, but the Jedi were around when he was a child and inducted into Death Watch because that was during the Clone Wars. So, but then again, that goes back to the point that I think they've been trying to raise, is that they're all because there were like Jedi around during the prequels. Like there were only 10,000 Jedi Knights at that time during the Clone Wars. So 10,000 in a galaxy, it means they're rare and few and far between. Like the chances that you would ever see a Jedi fight or a Jedi in real life was like slim to none. So it is believable that at that time period, like even at the height of the Clone Wars, people still hadn't heard or known about the Jedi. They were kind of like myths, really. But yeah. Let us know in the comments too if you want to see, if you're interested in seeing the Mandalorian Wars in a live action TV show or movie. I'd rather a TV show, but I'll take a trilogy, depending on the format. Yeah, I'll take a trilogy.
I wouldn't mind that either. Trilogy would be cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah. Either or, like it can't be one movie though. Like that's not going to do it justice. Like I'm going to need a trilogy, or a series. Can be 1 or 2 seasons. Phone thought I said Siri.
Yeah. So after so they're down in the sewer, in the lava pool or whatnot, the lava river.
Yeah, and then we see a R2 unit turn into go straight up Transformer mode. I thought that was wild. Oh, yeah. That threw me. I was like, bro, who did this to this R2 unit and why? Like it's so awkward. Like wide-bodied R2, like cylindrical body of an R2 unit with those the legs. It's like a stick figure with a.
Yeah,
it was weird.
And they blew that up, right? They shot it.
Nah, it was stuck in the lava, and then like, Cara Dune, she jarred the ship loose by shooting the lava, and got the ship unstuck. And then I guess in that it kind of it was able to break free of the lava, and then the IG unit makes a sacrifice. Now I thought that this sacrifice was better than Quill's.
Yeah, because Quill ain't have no sacrifice.
Yeah, like it definitely, it was more impactful.
Give the robot a moment and not Quill.
That's crazy. It was more impactful. But then I think it too also serves the story in.
It's for the Mando, because
the Mandalorian, because he has a fear of and a distrust of droids. So I think that's more so why they chose that, and why they chose to have IG make that noble sacrifice over Quill.
Is it noble though? From the
I think it is
perspective.
No, from the droid's perspective, the droid is just doing his duty. It's just performing his task, which the Mandalorian also understands, because that's the way. Like it's living by a code. It's doing what it's programmed to do, and he by code, so he understands. Like he translate that as like he's honoring his code, and he's doing what he's programmed to do, just like the Mandalorian. So like I think that for him made that sacrifice noble. Yeah, because of course that's how he would have interpreted it. And I think that's why that droid had to make I think that's why IG-11 had to make the sacrifice. I thought it was a good scene though. It was definitely impactful. It's like,
I like how they did the explosion too. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, that was definitely cool. Then so they make it out, and then Moff Gideon in his TIE fighter
comes in. Lambo TIE fighter.
In that Lambo TIE fighter comes through.
Starts shooting them.
Yeah, makes his first pass. Almost gets him in that first pass. He barely missed.
How he missed, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think he saw him initially. I think he redirected and tried to line it up, but he's probably just out of range. Couldn't get a lock on the target quickly enough. Came back around for another pass. I thought this was a cool scene too. He because he makes a low pass behind the mountains intentionally to stay out of the firing range. Then he makes that his final pass on him. Mandalorian at the last minute rockets up, which I think distracts him because I don't think he was anticipating him to jetpack like that above him, and he ends up missing the ship. Takes off. Mandalorian fires his grappling hook on target, which is that's quite a move.
Yeah,
to blast off like that, right? Go above the TIE fighter, turn around, fire a grappling hook from your arm, from your wrist, accurately, and hit the TIE fighter. Like that's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive, and for it to hold up.
Yeah, another part.
Choke, I'm like, okay, well, it's a show.
It's a show.
Don't be too realistic here. But I was like, the torque didn't mess with him at all.
Nah,
the torque from that TIE fighter, he just flailing.
Hey man, listen, we seen Die Hard, we seen James Bond, we got like Mission Impossible. We seen all type of crazy stuff in movies. Like in Star Wars, I can buy it. You know what I'm saying? I can buy it. I can buy it. And then
it was a cool, that was a cool scene.
Yeah, cool scene. He puts the detonators onto the TIE fighter, onto the wing. Detonates.
One detonator. He lost the first one.
Actually, he ends up putting two on there though. He did too? On my rewatch, he actually managed to plant two on the wing, blowing the wing off, and crash lands.
I thought it was one wing.
No. He puts two detonators on, but like it blows one wing off.
Yeah, I meant one detonator.
No, yeah, I did too the first time, but then like when I saw it, because I just rewatched it like around 6, and he does place two on there. Like he does lose the first one, and then I think he grabs the last two off his belt and puts them on. It blows up, crash lands onto into the wastelands. Mando lands. We get our happy ending. They agree to go their separate ways. And then we get our end credit scene. Got the Jawas. That's another thing. Jawas got to be like cockroaches, bro. Like, cause they just appear. They're just everywhere. Like they on every planet. Like somebody got to explain to me how Jawas keep popping up on literally every planet. Like they just them cats just funny. Everywhere, man.
Yeah, they get around.
Yeah, scavenging. I'm like, bro, how are they the first ones out there? Like, how did they even know? How did they know the TIE fighters out there? Like, I had so many questions. But yeah, they're scavenging, and then all of a sudden, camera pans around to the side, and we see this blade pierce the side of the TIE fighter from the inside and begins to cut an opening, and you see this black blade with a white glow around the edge emerge. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I know what that is. And sure enough, he cuts his opening, kicks the side of the thing down, got the blade ignited, and it's the dark saber, the legendary dark saber. And JBM, you watched this with me live last year when it aired. You saw my reaction when I saw this. Everybody else was lost. They were like, what? I don't understand. Like, why are you so excited? And I'm like, man, y'all don't understand what that blade is, dog. Like, that's the dark saber, man. Like, Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian inducted into the Jedi Order, crafted that lightsaber. That was his signature weapon, and he went on to, and this is during like the old Republic. Like this is way back. This is after the Mandalorian Wars. That he does this. After the Mandalorians and the Jedi make peace, he's the first one inducted into the Order. He is trained, becomes Jedi Master. He forges this lightsaber, sits on the High Council of the Jedi Order, and is also becomes leader of Mandalore while he's serving on the High Council. So like the dude, he's a legend, right? So like this, and because of that, and he has this legendary weapon, the Darksaber. He's that symbol is like Excalibur for the Mandalorian people. Like he who wields this blade becomes leader of Mandalore from that point on, and it's been passed on from generation to generation. Every single leader up to Satine, who we see in the Clone Wars, is wields this and rules Mandalore. The next person that wields it is Darth Maul, Tar Vizsla's ancestor, not ancestor, but distant relative. Descendant. Yeah, I don't know why it's distant relative. Descendant, Pre-Vizsla, who's the leader of Death Watch, is the last true Mandalorian in the Clone Wars to wield the Darksaber. Before he is betrayed by the renegade Sith. Oh yeah, spoilers. Sorry. He is betrayed by Maul, who then wields the lightsaber, the Darksaber, and rules Mandalore for a spell. And then he loses it, and it ends up, well, no, he doesn't lose it, but it ends up in Sabine Wren's hands during Rebels, who hands it to what's her name? Blanking on her name.
Lord God. Don't fail us, Lord God.
Oh gosh, I forgot her name. Dang,
we
wait a second.
We have Google.
We do have Google. Satine, no, what's her craze. Give me a minute. Bo-Katan. Gosh, I can't believe I blanked on that. Bo-Katan craze. Bo-Katan craze.
Bo-Katan crazy.
Yes, is the next person who wields it, and this is right before the purge of Mandalore. So she was the last Mandalorian that we know of in canon that wielded the Darksaber before Moff Gideon. So that was quite a reveal for me, because for me, I had finished, Rebels had finished. That show had concluded by the time Mandalorian comes on. So the last person I saw in that, literally anyone who's up on the lore, she was the last person we see with the Darksaber. So the fact that he has the Darksaber now is like, oh, okay, what happened? Because when we saw her last, she was on her way to lead a rebellion on Mandalore against the Empire. So clearly that didn't go well. Clearly that didn't end well. So yeah, I do.
I'm drinking water right now. Sith Lord Maul.
Water.
All I drink is water.
Good old H2O. Good call.
High quality H2O.
And that's how we conclude the season.
Yeah, we showed the tombstone, the makeshift tombstone of Quill.
Oh yeah, but that happened before. That wasn't to close the shot. But yes, they do show the honorary grave to Quill with his little helmet, or what is helmet headpiece,
goggles, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Hey, you know what they need to bring back? Pod racing. I need pod. Like, I don't understand what. I like pod racing. I thought I was like one of the coolest part of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, maybe cool, make it a little animated show, pod racing show, or live action.
something. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe like a Days of Thunder type.
That was great. That was some great stuff. I like pod racing.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
bad. They haven't showed that at all since episode
that's
one.
the only time. Yeah, that's the only time we seen it. And I'm like,
That
yo,
is
what's wrong with
interesting.
pod racing? Like pod racing's cool.
Yeah, I wonder what happened with that.
I don't know, man. I would put it back. I'd put it in something. Like even if it's just on the TV somewhere, like while someone's in the cantina talking. Yeah, show me some pod races. It's been mentioned, but like not it hadn't been shown on screen since then.
It'd be cool. Yeah, man.
But yeah, hey, that's the season. That's season one.
Season one.
Anything you else you want to talk about? You got some time to recap, or you got to get out of here?
Yeah,
You want to speculate?
Pardon me, I'm parched.
Oh God.
Yeah, I have to roll, but for season two, my speculation is we discover where the child is from.
I hope not. I hope not. I honestly, I hope not. And the only reason why I say I hope that doesn't happen is because George Lucas said he never wants the home planet of Yoda species to be revealed or what his species is. Like he said that multiple times in multiple interviews, in terms of anyone has ever asked him about Yoda and Yoda species and where they're from.
Why though?
He's intentionally kept it a secret. Because it's like we don't. Like I told you, it's a vote. Like you see how long it takes for them to age and mature. Like we don't need. Like no one can know about where they are from or where they live, because that would
somebody got to know.
I mean, when you got things like the Empire out there, like nah, they're gonna kill all of them. Like you already see what they're trying to do with the child.
I mean, so it's a way for the audience to see it without somebody seeing it. You know what I mean?
If
I got to know.
I've never really been that curious about it. Like I like the mystery around Yoda and his species.
Yeah, man. I need to see how they eat, how they live, how they kick back, what
games
they play.
Yeah, I don't want to see that like at all.
What the
like,
habitat looks like.
I don't want to use
lotion. I don't know. They eat breakfast with the kids, siblings. Are they just one-offs? I don't know.
Yeah, I've never wanted to know that. Like I always like the mystery of it. Like I didn't they've had his species pop up in other source material, like in video games in the past. And they've always been like Jedi, but they've never delved into what the species is and never revealed the species and never talked about the home planet. And I've never really cared because I like that element of mystery. Like I don't need to know everything about that species in that character. Like part of the reason why I like Yoda is because of the mystery around him. You got this small creature that became a Jedi master and trained Jedi for over 800 years. Like to me, that's really all I need to know. Like it's that, going back to the scenes on Dagobah in the swamp, like that's everything I ever needed to know about that species was revealed to me through Yoda in that moment. Because I'm like, if this is the product, if this is what they put out, like they're set up for greatness. Set up for greatness. They're wise.
To say that Yoda represents all. Maybe he's special species of Yodinians.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Possibly, I just think that there are few of them. Like, because if they're that vulnerable, like if the child wasn't force sensitive, I think it would have died a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
it couldn't have survived. It couldn't, because like if it's 50 years old and it is basically the equivalent of a 5-year-old adult, of a 5-year-old human, like that species
needs
parents. It can't survive. Yeah, it can't survive like on its own. Like can't survive, and they're certainly not out waging wars. They're probably like a very peaceful, humble species of people. They also aren't. They don't. They are. It's also not part of the Republic either. Wherever their planet is, it was never a part of the Republic. Yoda, yeah, Yoda. Yaddle is the other. Yaddle was, I believe, Yaddle was younger than Yoda.
Yoda's nephew.
Yoda's nephew.
Niece. Yoda's niece.
Oh, yeah. God, that would suck too if they were all related. That's how they treat black people. Like all black people in science fiction are related.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like you because remember, like as soon as people saw Finn, like, oh, he's related to Mace Windu. Like, why? 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 Like, why? Or maybe he's related to Lando. No, why? Like, we not all related, man. Damn. Like, come on, give me a break. Yeah, I feel the same way. Don't make all the Yoda species related. Like, nah.
That is hilarious.
Can't. Not with that. I don't rock with that.
It was a big litter. It's a big litter.
I refute that claim, that statement. Vehemently. No.
Vehemently.
Absolutely not. But anyway, what a great episode this has been. Man. Like always, enjoy coming on here, talk Star Wars with you, my man.
Yes, sir.
And we will see you guys. Yeah. Anything? You got any announcements? Anything you want to talk about on air before we end the stream?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back Friday night at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time to recap episode 1 of season 2, baby. So make sure you guys all tune in for that. It's gonna be fun. Gonna have a lot to talk about. We're not gonna have a lot. We're gonna speculate heavily, of course, because we'll probably start out top, recapping what we saw, and then of course speculating on what could happen next. We definitely want to see you all back here because we'll open the discussion up. Come in with your speculations and your theories about what will happen next in the season, because we're going to talk about all that on that episode. And until then, and also make sure you like, subscribe, and to this channel, we've got a live stream that we do every Saturday called The Cookout, where we kind of talk about all types of nerdy things. And we have community discussions, and this week's community discussions, for the month of October, have been about horror. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wear your costumes.
Wear a costume, yeah. Make sure you join Discord too. If you haven't already, we have a Discord. The link is in the description of the video. So make sure you click on that. Join us. We'd love to talk Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and anything else nerdy. And until then.
Yeah. And Discord, upload your costume picture to the Discord.
Yeah, drop those costumes and those outfits.
Best costume wins $100.
That he said that.
Oh. I take that back.
He said that.
I take that back. That's all cat.
Oh, it's all cap. Yeah.
You might win something though, Might win some applause, some emoji hands.
Yeah, shoot, man. We might feature the best costumes on the or we might feature
on the
costumes
stream.
on the stream on Saturday. Show those costumes off, man. So make sure you drop those costumes in there, costume pics into the Discord, and we'll definitely share them on Saturday. But thank you all once again for joining us tonight. It's been fun. And we'll see you on the next episode. Peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.